Good evening. The new chair of the Scottish Police Authority has denied the police service is in crisis, but the former Health Minister and Labour MSP Susan Deacon has accepted the police watchdog needs to be more open and communicative if it's to drive forward improvements and change in the force. Morag Kinneborough reports.
Behind frontline services, the police are under intense scrutiny. 5 top officers have left their desks while a series of complaints is investigated.
Do you accept
the woman charged with overseeing the force takes up her post tomorrow. Her predecessor resigned amid a barrage of criticism.
Well, the SPA certainly has had a fairly bumpy ride over the last few years, but my interest is in looking forward. It's really important that the Scottish Police Authority is seen to work effectively so that it can play its part in driving forward change and improvement in the police service in Scotland, and also provide some of that scrutiny and transparency.
It's been seen to be working chaotically.
Well, a lot has been achieved in a short period of time, and I have to take issue, as others have done, with the notion that our police service itself is in crisis.
How's it going? Very well, thank you. Still planning to join? Yeah. Good, right answer.
Chief Constable Phil Gormley is on special leave following allegations of gross misconduct, including claims of bullying. Assistant Chief Constable Bernard Higgins is one of 4 officers suspended amid criminal and misconduct allegations. They deny doing anything wrong. The acting head of Police Scotland has said he's reassured by Ms Deacon's commitment to improving the Scottish Police Authority, and he's warned the police should not be moved around as a political issue.
Ordinary rank-and-file officers have been praised for their work. The Scottish Government says crime is at a 43-year low. But while investigations into senior officers continue, questions of trust and confidence remain within the police service. Morag Kinneborough, reporting Scotland, Glasgow.
The Scottish Government would be very sympathetic to any legal action against Universal Credit, according to one of its cabinet ministers. Campaigners say the new benefit system is driving more people into debt. Scotland's Children's Commissioner has already said he would consider a legal challenge if Universal Credit infringed the human rights of children. But the UK Government insists the all-in-one payment is working, with people moving into work faster and staying in work longer.
The approach of the UK Government on social security and welfare is truly appalling. It is impoverishing people. It is leading to despair. We know that. I know that as a constituency MSP from my caseload. So in all those circumstances, I think anybody who is standing up against that and arguing for a practical resolution to what are awful ideological problems being brought by the Tories, I think deserves all the support he can get.
A 44-year-old man was seriously injured last night after he was attacked by a group of youths in the Shettleston area of Glasgow. Detectives have described it as an unprovoked attack. NHS Borders has issued a warning about a batch of drugs 50 times more powerful than heroin after a number of users were treated in hospital this weekend. The warning concerns heroin mixed with a synthetic painkiller. On to football, and Rangers beat Aberdeen for the second time in a week to replace them in second place in the Premiership. The final score was 2-1, with Josh Windass scoring what proved to be the winning goal after former Dons midfielder Ryan Jack was sent off. Well, with winter officially started, we need to know how to cope in bad weather conditions. The Scottish Fire and Rescue Service say they're dealing with far more weather-related incidents like the floods in Aberdeenshire 2 years ago. Katrina Renton has been finding out how they train for such events.
A car caught in fast-flowing water. This is a reconstruction, but it's how the Fire and Rescue Service learn to deal with situations like flooding. This car is tied down, but the force of the water still moves it around. In this scenario, the driver has climbed onto the roof.
The safest place to be is on the car rather than a vehicle that's not held down there like that will definitely move within that environment. So one of our quickest options is to come at a swimmer to the water like that, and what we call is effectively a snatch rescue, and we can grab the casualty and we can recover them to the safe shoreside as quickly as we can.
This was Ballater in Aberdeenshire a couple of winters ago. And floods in places like this. And the Scottish Borders. The fire service played a key role in helping local communities. The idea with the training is to replicate the types of real-life conditions that people experience.
What you can see here gives you an idea of just how terrifying it is to be trapped in floodwaters, but it also shows you that the Fire and Rescue Service are training for situations like this.
If you look back over the last few years and look at the types of incidents there have been, both in remote rural and in more urban areas for incidents involving flooding, that's probably representative of a wider range of incidents to which we now respond to as a service. And for us, it's about ensuring we're suitably equipped and ready to respond to that wide range of incidents.
The fire service says exercises like this form part of its transformation as it learns to adapt to deal with the challenges of the 21st century. Katrina Renton, reporting Scotland, Glasgow.
And that takes us on to the weather prospects for this evening and the start of the week. Here's Judith with your forecast.
Thank you, Sally. Well, the settled conditions have afforded us some lovely sunsets. Here's one sent in by one of our weather watchers earlier on. Beautiful pink skies there. And indeed, the dry conditions hold for this evening and overnight for much of Scotland, with clear spells, certainly across eastern areas. Generally more cloud towards the west coast and the far north. That cloud thick enough to produce some spits and spots of rain. Maybe that rain more persistent over Shetland. Quite a brisk westerly wind for the far north and the west coast, but lighter winds inland. Lows typically of around about 5 Celsius, but across the borders, with the clearest skies hang on longest, we could see lows of around about freezing, if not below, and a wee touch of frost here by morning. So high pressure very much driving our weather as we head into the start of the working week. Now round the top of the high we'll see clouds spilling in across parts of the west and north, but still very quiet weather-wise. And tomorrow starts off on a largely dry note, good sunshine across eastern parts, a bright day with sunny spells generally, and even where clouds comes and goes across the west, we'll still see some sunshine, a few spots of rain here and across the far north, and still windy for coastal areas. And a very similar setup for the rest of the UK, settled conditions. Again, more in the way of cloud in the west. Towards the northwest of England, we'll see some cloud coming and going, but generally quiet weather, highs of 10 or 11 Celsius, so warmer or higher values than we've seen of late, and around 7 or 8 degrees here in Scotland. So the dry conditions hold as we head into tomorrow evening, though we'll see a wee bit more no rain across the far northwest and the far north by the end of the night. And then on Tuesday, very similar setup, dry with some rain for the north and the west, and temperatures very much on the mild side.
And that's all for Reporting Scotland for now. We're back just after the 10 o'clock news. Until then, from everyone here on the team in Glasgow, have a good Sunday evening. Bye for now.